Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we will see how to set up SqlDataSource Control. So here in the form, we will set up the SqlDataSource Control. The control will supply data for the list box as well as the combo box, and it knows how to talk to the SQL Server DB. So this will be our data source control. Now let's set up SQL data source control to our project. We will make use of our previous project, or you can create your new solution. Here I am using the existing solution. If you prefer to create a new solution, then add a new web form. And name the web form as DTB02 data binding example 02 data source SqlDB. So that's the form we are creating now. So the new form is here. Let's switch to the design view. We will unpin the Solution Explorer and we will pin the toolbox, expand the data, and here you can see the data source control, right? If you want to extract the data from XML, you can use XML data source. Here we want to use a SQL Server database, so we are dragging and dropping the SQL data source control here. This will hide the complexity of connection as well as command objects. So the control, using the wizard based setup, we can configure connection as well as commands. Alright, let me drop it here, and you can see this is our SQL data source control. So once you drop it, you can hover the mouse at any time here and click on this arrow and choose configure data source. This will open the wizard. Click on the new connection, then specify your SQL Server host name. Here I am giving local host. The pubs database lies in this same system, so I am giving local host. Here I am leaving it as Windows authentication. If you want to go with SQL Server authentication, you can click SQL Server authentication, provide username and password for your SQL Server DB user. Let me proceed with Windows authentication and then pick the available database here. If you see, in my local system I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 databases, and our intention is to pick the pubs database. So let's go to our Visual Studio, and here we will pick the pubs database. Right. Next, test the connection. This connection is succeeded. That means no problem in the connection, and click OK. Here if you see, this is the default connection which we created. So we created a new connection. Likewise, you can create multiple connections. So if you want to know the connection string formed on the fly, you can expand that, and this is the connection string. Let's click next here. And if you want to change the connection string name, you can do that. Here I am just choosing pubs.com. That's all. Now click next here. So since we specified the pubs database, specify column from a table or view. So that's the second radio option, and that got selected by default. Our intention is to bring data from the title table. So here the list shows all the table names. Let's pick only the title table, and from title table we will pick title ID and title. And if you see, the select statement is already formed here based on our selection here. Select title ID title from titles table. Now let's click next. And if you want to test the query, you can do it. And if you see, this is the data which will be fetched by our SqlDataSource Control. We dropped this SqlDataSource Control in our form. Then we chose configure data source, and here we are about to finish our configuration. We tested the query, and this is what the SqlDataSource Control will retrieve for us. Now let's click finish, and this SqlDataSource 1 control is configured now, and it picks title ID and title from title table of the pubs database. We just set up SqlDataSource. Thank you for watching. Bye.